Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, diving into the Pirate Alliance Kizuna Clash vs Soba 10-star event with some boosted teams. To help you guys take down this event if you did some summons over on the Kizuna banner. Now, with the release of the new Caulifla, she basically makes Zoro and Kaku and Luffy Lucci incredibly strong, and obviously with this Super Boss and 10-star event, they really want you using these CP0 and these CP9 characters. So, today's video, we're going to start with the full boost teams for each variation, and then we're going to talk about substitutes if you guys are missing either, say, Caulifla, Jabra, or Fuki, whatever his name is. I'm going to this expecting that you guys have Lucci and Luffy, as well as Zoro Kaku, because, I mean, if you're summoning on the Kizuna banner, like, for Caulifla, then, like, you should have Zoro Kaku and Luffy Lucci, or at least one of the two. I guess we can talk about some substitutes for each of them when we get there, but like I said, today's video we're focusing on the boosted characters. So if you enjoyed the video, bell like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. I'm still pretty nasally, still pretty under the weather when it comes to illness, so apologies for all of the gross stuff, and hopefully I'll be back fighting fit by the time Kizuna starts. With that said, let's dive in. Alright, so we're going to start off with the strength variation. As you can see for the dex variation, the team's exactly the same. Like, we haven't changed anything. It's literally just the 3 recommended characters, and then the 2 new anniversary exclusive legends. You can probably substitute S-Snake in on this team as well. Be mindful we're using a Caulifla Frank captain for both these teams, because obviously Caulifla's giving you a 1.4 times ticket growth. That's going to give you more Super Boss tokens, and going to give you more tokens in the long run. Dex, quick, and side characters get the good stuff for the 10-star against strength. And then on turn 2, you have to deal with some bind on your left-hand column, and then you also have to deal with paralysis orbs. Now, if you have Caulifla unit, you can basically just use like your captain Caulifla on turn 2, takes care of this stage, and then you just move on to the final stage. On the final stage, you have to deal with, after level 30, the blowaway immunity stuff. Weak to fighters, then there's a 32% HP cut. Remember, Caulifla gives you overhealing, so this is really not too bad. Normal attacks only, special reverse despair, threshold, ship bind, and if you do anything to do with charging specials, you are going to have to deal with an intimidation for an attack and all boost. On death as well, there's 320,000 damage, so you do want to have a way to actually tank that particular shot. So the team looks like this. As I mentioned, we're using Caulifla on turn 2. She's going to rotate the paralysis orbs, and she's going to remove the bind. If you're not running her as captain, like, sweet, don't even have to worry about it too much, because what as long as she's on the right-hand side, she's basically going to cover you for all of that. Moving to the final stage, to get around the threshold, we have this guy is Fukuro. He gives you 5 turns of threshold removal, and then gives you overrideable attack and orb boost, which of course works perfectly for something like Caulifla. If you guys are using Fukuro, you don't really need Zoro and Sanji, Zoro and Kaku. Zoro and Kaku are just great because, like, they're giving chain shenanigans and super tandem and all that fun stuff. We are using Jabra for the despair. Jabra is fantastic because he not only removes the despair, but he also gives you a color affinity boost, which is really, really nice. He also rotates all orbs into quick, but then we are going to turn them into tandem thanks to Luffy and Lucci anyway. The only thing that we don't have for this particular team, if I remember correctly, unless Caulifla does it, is that we don't have a damage reduction user. So that 320,000 hit probably is going to hit very, very hard. But you can easily just chuck on something like the Mistem support, because there's special reverse. The Mistem support there, and then you can actually deal with that. Because there is, I think is there special reverse? Yeah, 2 turns special reverse. You can swap into Luffy and Lucci as captain. Use the captain shift mechanic if you really want to. And that's going to give you the special reverse in the captain, but like Caulifla has the super type to just bypass that. So that's the team we're using. Now let's talk about any substitutes for these particular characters. Now straight away, Jabra is really just here as a despair remover. So if we head into our filters by fighters and shooters, we can just search by despair removers. Basically just put any of these characters. Like, you realistically only need 3 characters for Luffy and Lucci, or you just need 1 for the Caulifla EX, depending on what you guys are going for. So any of these characters will work. You just need to remove 6 turns of despair. You could probably use supports as well. Like, you just have an array of characters that'll work nicely there. And then for the Fukuro replacement, you basically just need someone that gets around threshold. And basically any of these characters will work great. The free-to-play Akainu is probably a really good one. If you guys are missing some of these high-end units. You could definitely run, like, Treasure Map Usopp is really, really good. Treasure Map Frankie's another good option too. You do need 5 turns, so Frankie's only 4 turns, but you do have some options there. You can run the Esper, maybe with support on Luffy as well to get around an extra 2 turns. That could definitely work. You have Robin there, she's really, really good. So your options are, like, like plentiful. So let's just say, for example, we're going to use something like this particular Akainu, and then for the despair, we could just say something like this Jinbei. Like, very, very easy to do. Just sort of substitute them in. Jinbei also gives damage reduction, which is great, so you won't need the Mistem support. Now, if you don't have Luffy and Lucci, they're just providing extra damage. You can just sort of replace them with anyone else that's going to give you good damage. Remember, you just need to bring one character for Khalifa. So if you have like any of the new rare recruits or the new legends, they're going to work absolutely fine. As for replacing Khalifa, that's a little bit harder. Khalifa on turn 2 is great because she can bypass the paralysis orbs and the blind. So if you just go into your search and you just look up blind and paralysis, basically any of these characters will work fine. Off the top of my head, or sort of just looking here, you could just run Chopper. Remember, you can use the captive shift of Luffy and Lucci, so like that's going to work absolutely fine. Chopper can just bypass them on the second turn, and then you're off to the races that way. So you have options, like you can do some fun stuff, and like I said, you don't really need Khalifa because you're running a friend captain, and then she's going to bypass the rest of that. So that's the strength variation. Moving on to the Dex fight now. Again, the team's pretty much exactly the same because it pretty much takes care of everything. Obviously, the recommended characters are the 3 new Kizuna units: Powerhouse, Shooters, and Slashers. No, Fighter, Shooter, Powerhouse, get all the good stuff. On turn 2, there's Chain Growth Rate Reduction, 1 turn of Fear, and 2 turns Special Reverse. So again, this is where Khalifa's great because she can just take care of literally all of that, which is awesome. On the final stage against Soba Mask, he has all of the blow-away shenanigans, percent damage cut, and he's weak to fighters. 5 turns. I'm going to attack down if you're below a 2 times chain lock. 6 turns of paralysis, normal attacks only, block orbs, 3 turns of an attack. They can only deal up to 99% of the enemy's maximum HP. Full immunity except defense down, 6 turns of defense up, 32 turns of 3.2 times attack, and then a 3 quick slot barrier. After 1 turn, there's 2 turns special reverse, which is a little bit annoying as well, because there's obviously special reverse up on this particular stage too, and there's also fear and stuff like that too, so very annoying stuff. But full bash team looks like this. Easiest thing to do is use your Khalifa's super class on turn 2, then use this Khalifa special, and then swap into Luffy and Lucci and just keep them as captains. That way you don't have to worry about any of the special reverse, because they have special reverse in their captain ability. So that way you can sort of just bypass it and just pretty good to go from there. You will use a Khalifa special on turn 2 to bypass the, what's it called? The chain growth reduction, or you could just use someone. You could just use someone that like gives you like a chain boundary or something like that. Off the top of my head, you could probably run something like I don't even know. We'll have a look at some options in a second. But on the final stage, Jabra is going to take care of the, I don't even know what Jabra's going to take care of, to be honest. The defense up, I think. Pretty sure he deals with defense up. Yeah, so Jabra's going to take care of the defense up. Your other Khalifa's going to take care of the paralysis. Taking care of the block orbs, I believe, is Jabra as well, but you also have the EX of Luffy and Lucci. And to get past that slot barrier, like, you're getting the quick orbs from Jabra there as well. But a lot of these characters all have barrier pen. So you can pretty much just utilize barrier penetration for that as well. And that should work out pretty fine. This Fukuro character, he's literally just not needed on this team. Especially if you have Lucci and Zoro and Kaku. If you have Zoro and Kaku, you just replace him with literally anyone. I literally just got him as a booster. But replacing Jabra can be a little bit more challenging. Well, the reason Jabra can be a little bit more challenging to replace is Jabra's doing a lot for this particular fight in terms of bypassing the defense up, as well as giving you the advantageous class effect for fighters and slasher characters, which is awesome. If you guys want to just a straight swap in, he removes Despair, which is great, but what you could easily do is you could easily substitute in something like Sabo as your captain. That way you're bypassing the Despair, but just bringing someone that can sort of either remove barriers, remove Despair, and then obviously set defense to 0 is going to be a great option. And the one character that I can think of that comes to mind that is perfect for all of those things is a Kainu 6+. Now this particular Kainu 6+, he's going to remove, again, 3 turns of barriers, 6 turns of Despair, and then set defense to 0. The problem with this unit is he only does it for 1 turn. So the second turn, you're either going to have to set defense to 0 again, or you're going to have to remove the the defense up that way. But like I said, if you guys are missing this particular Fukuro unit, you could easily just bring another character that does that. Remember that the Zoro and Kaku unit, they're actually setting defense to 0 with their super swap as well. So you have like turn 1, you could like use the Kainu, and then you could use the super swap of what's his name, Zora, and Kaku, and do some fun stuff there. If you guys are missing Caulifla, Caulifla's really, really good in the sense that she can bypass that attack down below a certain chain, and then obviously gives you the special reverse in her captain ability, in her like EX, or whatever it is. You could use the captain shift of Luffy Lucci to go into the captain slot, and then you don't have to worry about special reverse that way. That's just a really, really good way to bypass that, but you will have to bypass either the chain reduction growth or find a way to sort of bring a character that's giving you chain boundary. There is this particular Kuzan, the 6+, where is he? No, not that one. Wow. All right, let's try that again. I think it's this one here. He is the later 6+, and he actually removes chain reduction growth by 7 turns, and then gives you an orb boost and a color affinity boost. He works exceptionally well. Or there is the 5+ Kuzan too. I believe 5+ Kuzan gives you 3 turns of a chain boundary unit. So that way, you can get all of those really nice abilities there with 3 turns of a chain min-max, and then you're going to bypass the attack down below a certain chain anyway. So that's another really good option if you guys are missing Caulifla. So up to you guys how you want to run it, but pretty straightforward 10 stuff. You guys have the boosted characters. Teams kind of look like this. But that's going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please enjoy the rest of your day. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later!